The woman from my husband's past showed up at my son's wedding with a shocking secret. Today was supposed to be the happiest day of my life. My son Jason, 28 years old, was getting married to Emily, the sweetest girl you could ever imagine. I'm 55 now, and after 30 years of marriage to Robert, I thought I'd finally made it. The perfect family, the perfect life, everything I'd worked so hard to build. I was standing at the church entrance, greeting guests with Robert by my side, both of us smiling like we'd won the lottery. And honestly, that's exactly how I felt. My son was getting married. What could possibly go wrong? Then I heard it. A commotion at the door. People whispering, turning their heads. And that's when I saw her. Red dress, perfectly styled hair, walking straight down the aisle like she owned the place. My blood ran cold, because I knew exactly who she was. Brenda Miller, 52 years old. The woman I thought I'd buried 30 years ago. Let me take you back. It was 1994. I was 27, Robert was 29, and our son Jason had just turned 3. We were happy, or at least I thought we were. Robert was working long hours at his law firm, and I was home with Jason doing what every young mother does, trying to keep it all together. Brenda was Robert's secretary, 24 years old, beautiful, ambitious. The kind of woman who turned heads when she walked into a room. I didn't think much of her at first. Why would I? I trusted my husband, but then I found it. A lipstick in Robert's car. Not my shade. Not my brand. When I confronted him that night, he broke down. 6 months. They'd been having an affair for 6 months. While I was home with our toddler, singing lullabies and making dinner, he was with her. I should have left him. Everyone says that now. But you have to understand, I was 27 with a 3-year-old son. No college degree, no job, no money of my own. And Robert, he begged, he cried, he promised it was over. Brenda was fired the next day. And the last thing she said to me when she came to clean out her desk was this: one day, Barbara, one day you'll see me again. And when you do, I'll win. I didn't understand what she meant. Not then. But standing in that church 30 years later, watching her walk toward my son's wedding altar, I understood perfectly. Brenda grabbed the microphone from the minister's podium. Everyone went silent. Jason looked confused. Emily looked terrified. And I couldn't move. My legs felt like concrete. Hello, everyone, Brenda said, her voice steady and strong. I'm Brenda Miller. Some of you might be wondering why I'm here, but I have something very important to tell Jason. Something he deserves to know. Robert stood up. Brenda, don't do this. But she ignored him. 30 years ago, I fell in love with your father, Jason. We had an affair. It was wrong, I know that. But what happened next? That was even worse. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might explode. What was she doing? What was she going to say? When Robert ended things with me, Brenda continued, I was already 3 months pregnant. The entire church gasped. I felt like I couldn't breathe. This couldn't be happening. Not here. Not now. Not at my son's wedding. I tried to tell Robert, she said, her voice breaking slightly. I called. I wrote letters, but someone made sure he never got them. And then her eyes turned to me. Everyone's eyes turned to me. Barbara, she said quietly, you want to tell Jason what you did with my letters? I don't remember standing up. I don't remember walking toward her. But suddenly I was there, in the middle of the aisle, with hundreds of eyes burning into me. My voice came out as a whisper. I burned them. Jason's face went pale. Mom, what is she talking about? I burned the letters, Jason, I said, louder this time. Brenda sent your father letters telling him she was pregnant. And I made sure he never saw them. The silence in that church was deafening. You could have heard a pin drop. Why? Jason asked, and the hurt in his voice nearly destroyed me. Why would you do that? Because I was protecting our family. The words came out defensive, angry. She was trying to destroy what we had. No, Barbara, Brenda said firmly. You destroyed what I had. My son grew up without a father because of you. And that's when he stood up. A young man from the back row, 27 years old. And when he turned around, I nearly fainted. because he looked exactly like Jason. Same eyes, same nose, same jawline. This is Michael, Brenda said, Jason's half-brother. The wedding didn't continue. How could it? Guests started leaving, whispering, staring. Emily's parents looked horrified. Jason just stood there, frozen, staring at Michael like he was seeing a ghost. I tried to approach Jason, but he stepped back. Don't, Mom. Just don't. That was 2 weeks ago. I haven't been able to eat. I haven't been able to sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see that moment. The look on my son's face, when he realized his mother had been lying to him his entire life. I started seeing a therapist. She asked me, "How do you feel about what happened?" And you know what I told her? I said, "I don't know if I'm the victim or the villain anymore." Because that's the truth, isn't it? Brenda had an affair with my husband. She hurt me. But I took away her son's father. I took away Michael's chance to know Robert. I did that. Jason and Emily got married a month later. Small ceremony at City Hall. Robert and I were both there, but we sat on opposite sides of the room. We haven't spoken since the wedding disaster. Brenda and Michael didn't come. Jason said Michael wasn't ready to see us yet. I don't blame him. 3 months after the wedding, I got a text from Brenda. Just one line. Michael doesn't want to meet you. Please respect that. I texted back, I understand. I'm sorry. That's all I could say. Because what else is there? Sorry doesn't give Michael back 30 years with his father. Sorry doesn't erase what I did. Jason calls me once a week now. The conversations are short, polite, distant. He tells me about work, about Emily. He says he's been talking to Michael regularly. They're trying to build a relationship as brothers. He hasn't asked me over for dinner. He hasn't invited me to their apartment. And I understand why. I moved into a small apartment 6 months ago. Robert wanted to talk about reconciliation, but I can't. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Because every time I look at him, I remember that lipstick in his car. And every time I look in the mirror, I remember those letters burning in my fireplace. I'm 55 years old. Half my life is over. The question I keep asking myself is, what do I do with the other half? Last night, I sat down and wrote a letter to Michael. I don't know if I'll ever send it. It says I can't undo what I did. I can't give you back your childhood with a father. I can only tell you that I was wrong. I was scared and hurt, and I made a terrible choice. And you paid the price for my fear. People think that at 55, you should have everything figured out. That you should be wise. That you should know better. But here's what I've learned. Some wounds don't heal. Some mistakes can't be forgiven. Some truths destroy everything when they come out. And the hardest truth of all? I was both the victim and the villain in this story. Brenda hurt me. But I hurt Michael. Robert hurt me. But I hurt Jason. There's no neat ending here. No tearful reunion. No heartwarming forgiveness scene. This is real life. And in real life, sometimes you break something so badly that it can't be fixed. I kept a secret for 30 years to protect my family. But that secret didn't protect anyone. It just delayed the pain. And when it finally came out, it destroyed everything anyway. So here I am, 55 years old, living alone, seeing my son once a week for awkward phone calls, writing letters I'll probably never send, wondering if the woman I was 30 years ago would recognize the woman I've become. And the answer is, I don't know. All I know is this: the truth doesn't set you free. Sometimes it just shows you the prison you built for yourself. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus taught that no man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river and he's not the same man. I can never go back to the woman I was at 27, burning those letters in my fireplace. I can never return to the mother I was before Brenda walked through those church doors. The river has moved on, and so have I. All I can do now is what the philosopher Paul Tillich called the courage to be, the courage to accept myself, flawed and broken, and still choose to move forward. I was both victim and villain in this story, and my son paid the price for all of our sins, but maybe that's the lesson. Maybe at 55 the wisdom isn't in having all the answers. The wisdom is in accepting what I've done and still choosing to live with integrity from this moment forward. Because it's never too late to start telling the truth. Even when you're 55 and starting over. Even when the truth destroyed everything. Even then. You keep moving forward. The end. Don't forget to share this with the people you care about. Please subscribe me and see you again.